live from New York. It's a show that has a recipe for disaster because Nick Wright, Kevin Wildes, Brew is having his first Monster Energy drink.
It's purple, bro.
Not my
And it's
first.
24 ounces.
Not my first.
Well, you're first on the
I
air.
drink about one a week.
2. So that's one part of the
I
recipe.
just started. But.
2. Brew is tweeting about Joe Mazzulla challenging and then destroying the Boston media in a pickup game.
57-4?
What would have happened if you were out there in your prime, bro? Or even
We
now.
would have got more than 4 points. I'm not saying we would have beat him because Mazzulla was a legitimate D1 college player. But 4? 57-4? And they poured it on. I mean, you know what I mean?
They were
Usually
saying
you would
Mazzulla,
lighten
they were
up.
pressing the entire game.
And it was the media team's co-ed. And
I saw that, right? They were going.
That seems a little
That's
unfair.
Mazzulla, though. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised.
They didn't
Which
know.
I love about it.
They thought it was a media-on-media
They
game.
didn't have a chance to scout.
And then Mazzulla told them day of, that's not what's happening, you're playing us.
I wouldn't have played.
No, me neither.
I'm like, no, dude.
No, you're trying to embarrass us.
You're going to try to write a mean article about Mazzulla like you?
Right, exactly.
57-4.
You threw up 7 air balls against us. You could
talking about me?
criticize it.
We start with the return of the funk. Eagles have lost 2 in a row. The offense bipolar, sometimes unbelievable, sometimes doing nothing. And now, as they prepare for this Vikings game, Jeremy Fowler is reporting, quote, one player told me that this is starting to feel like the 2023 meltdown, what we refer to as the supernatural funk, all over again. Team needs to use this week to figure things out and avoid a full-blown repeat. This week was pretty much last week. And of course, this is what we're referring to. They went 1-5, a point differential of almost 10, 8 turnovers more than their opponents, and they allowed their opponents to score 30 points. Brew?
And then played one of the worst playoff games any team played in recent memory.
It was like the most
when it looked like they
Cancun-ish.
just quit.
Yes, it was like we're headed on vacation. Okay, Brew, your reaction.
If this is accurate, and I'm sure Jeremy's report is accurate, if that player really has the pulse of the locker room, then shame on the Eagles.
Wow.
Shame on
Yikes.
the Eagles. Are you kidding me? A supernatural fun. And let's take the spookiness out of it.
Okay.
Right? To fall into a malaise for the second time in 3 seasons where you are just overcome with lethargy, where you're just dispirited. This isn't, look, if they don't win the Super Bowl, fine.
Yeah.
But if you go out there and play your best and get beat by a better team, if you go into a funk where you just don't play anything close to your potential and you are just kind of dejected and like, I can't think of many teams, Nick, that's happened to, period. To happen to a team twice in 3 years? Now, and look, I believe Jalen Hurts is a great leader. But if this is true, you got to show it. You can't let this happen to your team every other year.
Wouldn't this be more on Sirianni than
Well,
Hurts?
I was going to get to him too, but Jalen's part of
Sure.
it. Nick Sirianni, I think he's a good coach, but you got to pull every bit of leadership that's in your body out and get these guys out of this funk. And I would throw Saquon in there too.
Okay.
This cannot happen. Again, if you just get beat by some better teams, it's not your year, that's fine. But to just go into a malaise is unacceptable. That's not choking. That's like giving up or something like that. And I'm not saying they're quitting or anything, but I'm just saying what happened 2 years ago was hard to explain. And let me throw this in, and I don't know if this is the case. I'm just saying if A.J. Brown is the problem, then trade him. Trade him. You can get a lot for him. Trade him. You're not using him to his full potential anyway, and he's great. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I don't know that he's the problem. So if he's not, of course, don't trade him. But if they know, the players and the organization know, and if this is stemming from his body language, his quotes, whatever it might be, not happy you're not getting the ball, then trade him.
So I want to kind of piggyback off that because I think we use the term funk. The quote here was the 2023 meltdown. This seems premature to be comparing it to a meltdown. It's a 2-game losing streak. And that was a meltdown last year because they were 10-1.
Yeah,
they looked like 2 years ago, pardon me, the best team in football. But this is also this Eagles team, since they've been excellent, is streaky like this, where the year they went to the Super Bowl, like incredibly hot at the end of the year, 3 years ago. 2 years ago, start 10-1, fall apart entirely. Last year, start off poorly, and then red hot up until 2 weeks ago as far as the win-loss column goes. And then, so that part's odd to me. What's not odd to me is this, and Danny said it, I don't know what day it was. It's like, what's Philly great at right now? What's Philly good at right now other than the tush push? And it's hard to point at anything. When part of the funk was a defense that had been awesome fell apart.
Yeah.
And we can show you the defensive numbers over the last 3 years. They don't have the defense to hang their hat on. In 2023, the defense, I guess it hadn't been awesome pre-funk, it had been okay, but then it really was terrible late. Then last year, with Fangio, it was the best. This year, it's closer to 23 than it is to last year. And they can't simply just say, all right, if other things aren't working, at least Saquon's going to take care of us more often than not. And this is my concern for them holistically. I had Saquon last year had 482 touches. He said, hey, this century, as you like to say, every back who had 450 touches, what was their drop-off the next year? And it is stark. One guy produced. LaDainian Tomlinson, an all-time legend, as a very young player, had more yards. Edge missed a bunch of the season. That's the drop-off. Everyone dropped off.
A lot of those guys hurt.
Yes, a lot of those guys missed time.
And how many of those guys were playing in February, just off the top of my head? Like, I wonder if
right.
How many of those guys made the Super Bowl? None of them.
Yeah. So he was also playing late in extra games.
And I don't know if you look at the bottom part. Saquon's on pace for a 974-yard regular season drop-off. We obviously don't, and so my concern for Philly is if the defense is just going to be okay, and there is, in my opinion, history tells us Saquon's not all of a sudden going to get a bunch better, then what are they going to be great at unless your guy Jalen in the passing game start really clicking? But that actually seems to be the part of the team there's the most angst about. And that's been the part of the team that even when they were winning, they were worried about. The defense hasn't been great. People aren't freaked out about that. Saquon hasn't been really performing. People don't seem freaked out about that. So the thing there's the most anxiety about is the thing I think that they're going to need to save them from this. That to me is our real concern.
You know what I think, and I can't think who their backup running back is at this point.
Well, they traded for Tank Bigsby, but A.J. Dillon's their main backup.
Yeah, the fumble.
Right. Yeah. But you probably got to get him, and nothing against Saquon, because I think if he does have a down year, I think he'll be back next year. But play Dillon more. I mean, really, just because the line is still solid.
Yes.
So you can get the run game going maybe with Dillon, and maybe that'll open things up for Saquon as well.
I have two recommendations. One, perfect. I'm positive it's right. One, Galaxy Brain.
Okay.
I'll give you the perfect one first. And it's an old Nick Saban coaching axiom that I would like Patullo to use. Players, not plays. So come right out of the gate and get A.J. the Brown immediately. I think Josh McDaniels, when we watch Patriots Bills, the first play was to Stephon Diggs because he knew this is a big game for this guy. I want to get this guy involved immediately. So first play, we're just going to run him a little screen. Good, Stephon's on the board. He feels involved. So first play here, look, it may not be what you want to run. can you just run a play for A.J. Brown immediately?
No,
that one makes sense.
Before you
Nick Saban.
Before you get to your other one,
the Galaxy.
Hold on, no, yeah. That what you just did there is organic. You're not like cooking the books here.
For what?
Right before I went on the air, I was scrolling Twitter. Hand to God, I think it was Sirianni had a quote at the press conference today. You know, some of the smartest coaches I've ever been around say, make sure you're remembering to think players, not plays.
Oh, I didn't see that.
The Eagles literally said that an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
That you are dialed in,
He might have gotten it from Saban.
I'm sure. A coach says it. No, but it's just interesting that you said it at the same.
Great football mind.
Yeah. No, good. I mean, shout out to you. But go ahead, Galaxy.
That
Galaxy
is a good
brain.
look for you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this would work. And this one, I'm already playing with house money here. Saquon, are you 100% healthy? Because if you've had extra.
You think I think he is.
I'm saying we've had extra rest because they played last Thursday, correct?
Yeah.
So we've had extra rest now. So you already got a little. If he doesn't pop this game, I think it's fair. And again, this is the Galaxy brain one. They're like, hey man, do you want an extra week?
What's that gonna do?
I don't know, but
he had several months in the offseason.
But how many 50-yard games am I going to get until I try to shake the snow globe a little bit?
That's why I think you got to bring Dylan in a lot more.
You want to take the ball out of his hands? Totally.
I don't want to. Obviously, Saquon is a phenomenal back, but I'm just saying, that graphic he showed made a lot of sense.
Hobbs told me he's got 12 carries, A.J. Dillon.
Yeah,
so maybe a little bit more.
They haven't been using him, so it was weird because by having Dylan, who, if you guys remember, the Packers spent a pretty high, like I think second-round pick, third-round pick on him a couple years ago.
Dylan was a good
yeah,
good
he's a good
back.
back. They call him Quadzilla or whatever.
Yeah, large quads.
Right, I get it. And then they traded, I think, a fourth and a fifth, something real for Tank Bigsby. When I saw that, I said, oh.
They understand.
They were trying to make sure Saquon had a light workload over the course of the year. And so it is ominous to me that they're only a 1.5 favorite against a Viking team that I think most people think is like somewhere around the 8th best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
You know, like that is a decent team, but and I know
maybe
they're
at best.
Right, and I know they're on the road, I get that, but usually a great team, which Philly's supposed to be, that all of a sudden needs the game, is off back-to-back losses, and they're on extra rest against a backup quarterback in Wentz.
Ooh, Wentz revenge game.
And so McCarthy's definitely. I know he practiced Monday.
I think they are expecting Wentz to be playing. Oddly, the Eagles might be a bigger favorite against McCarthy, but still, like
the Wentz revenge game factor, moving the line.
Well, I mean, I don't think Wentz has earned that.
Once upon a time, he was en route to an MVP.
He's like, you took my job in my Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts.
He probably feels some kind of way about that whole thing.
All right, moving on to the runners-up, from the champs to the runners-up. Rashee RIce this morning posted a dramatic comeback video as he prepares to make his season debut against the might-be frisky Raiders. One-time frisky Raiders. Okay, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. So here's MVP odds. Baker's also missing some of his guys too, but Mahomes will get Rashee RIce back. So I'm going to ask you two questions. One, do you expect Mahomes, with the addition of Rashee RIce, to kind of continue this MVP trajectory?
Yeah.
Also, just listening to Andy Reid there, I forgot that he had to be, I mean, I know he was suspended, but I forgot he had to be totally divorced from the team.
But so it's
do you
weird.
think he's able to just get right in immediately?
Yes. I mean, because he has been back more recently than this week. He was allowed to be back in the facility, I think, a week ago, but he couldn't practice.
Got you.
You know, he was able to be around the guys, like I think 2 weeks ago, whatever it is. So
he
here's
can't throw afterwards.
Right, I don't think you can do. I don't want to be wrong on this.
Just under the cover of darkness.
Certainly you're allowed.
He's out there throw some slant patterns or something.
I think certainly you're allowed outside of the facility. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if they went to somebody's house or
which
something.
Which they probably not doing.
Mahomes has a field at his house.
Yeah, Mahomes has a sick house. All right, so I want to, a few things. I want to say this on the front end. Rashee RIce is not a returning hero. Like this is not. If it was just he was coming back from the injury last year, then it's kind of a happier overcoming story. He did this to himself through bad choices, and we don't have to talk about that every time we talk about him, but now that it's over, I just want to put a pin in that. I like Rashee RIce.
He's very fortunate.
Right. He's very lucky in that, and now you move forward and you hope he makes better choices. I do know Patrick loves him, and I also know that if you extrapolate either the first 3 games of last year over an entire season or the end of his rookie year over an entire season, he looks like a legitimate #1 receiver statistically. And I think that this offense is going to really hum in a way it has not been able to in the last 4 years, which is why I really believe Patrick's going to win it.
Wow.
And this coming from someone who has in my possession a Baker Mayfield at 35-1 MVP ticket from the offseason because I picked the Bucs to be the 1 seed, so I said I think Baker could win MVP. I talked about it probably more on the pod than on here. So I think Baker's obviously been awesome, and I think Baker right now has to be the MVP. Like if it were voted on today, and if it were voted on today, I wouldn't even have had, based on today, I wouldn't have Patrick on the ballot because I don't think you can be 500 and be the MVP. Like, so it's a little different. But Baker's been playing with a little fire on, oh, that could have been picked, and it wasn't. And I imagine that will come back on him a bit. And the other thing is this. Baker is kind of the final, I don't know if we can throw up the Bucs schedule or not. If not, it doesn't matter. I can just tell you guys. Starting in December, their final 6 games, 5 of them are 1 p.m. on Sunday, and 1 of them is Thursday Night Football. He's going to potentially not have the marquee standalone moments. Patrick, meanwhile, obviously is on national TV all the time, and then Thanksgiving, Cowboys, Houston, Sunday Night Football, the Broncos on Christmas, and I think he already has, Brew, if we show what he's first in, MVP-ish personal numbers, not passer rating, but leading the league in yards, leading the league in touchdowns, second league in touchdown interception ratio. Those are MVP numbers. Yeah. And so I think he's going to do it because I think that they're going to be back to scoring around 30 a game, and I think they're going to be all over standalone games, which helps.
Look, I mean, I had him 3rd on my ballot, and why 500 at this point, I'm like, fine, because 4-2 is some of the other teams. Obviously, if they're a team that's 500 at the end of the season, no question that quarterback can't win MVP. But I think he's certainly in the hunt for all the reasons you said, and he's got a great chance to do it. But I think do I expect him to is a little strong. I certainly expect him to be right there in the race. But right now, you mentioned Baker. Baker's got a nice lead.
Yes.
And you talked about their schedule. He's got a great chance to be the #1 seed. He's got the narrative. Like, the narrative is Baker. As much as it would be great, oh, Mahomes, the light show is back. Once he got his receivers back, he took off.
A tie will go to Baker.
Yeah, yes. Obviously Mahomes already has 2. But Baker, just his whole career, becomes part of the story. I also think, Nick, you mentioned the games that are at 1 o'clock. A lot of the voters are beat writers and stuff, so they're not seeing the games live. And, they're at their team's game or whatever. So that might affect some of the fans and viewers, but I don't know that it'll affect, the writers as much, who obviously at this point are probably staunchly in Baker's camp. I also will say this, and I'm not trying to be funny. A lot of guys are in the hunt right now.
Yeah, of course.
I really think he wasn't on my ballot this week, but I really think my preseason pick, J-Lo, will be in the hunt. Like, I know he's had some, his numbers are very good,
His numbers are better than, to me, he's played.
Well, he just makes a few bad decisions. Some of them have led to, he's only got 2 interceptions, but his decision-making has been a little bit off, but I expect that team to improve. He's got Christian Watson coming back at some point, so his receiving core is going to get better too. And if they start to win a lot of games, which I expect, I think he'll be in the hunt. As far as Mahomes, though, I think, Nick, it's got to boil down. Like, his stats have to get better. And they have started to get better over the last few games. But, look, you talk about the tackle that turned the tide. Jacksonville was after that, and he had a 91 passer rating and only 1 touchdown and a pick 6 in the red zone. So I think it's going to have to be stats Because right now, with just 6 games played, every game is in our, but he was great against Detroit. By 16, 17 games, the individual games aren't going to be as much in our head, and it's going to be your stats. And here, you showed some of his stats, but here's where he ranks league-wide right now. Those aren't MVP numbers. I don't think those will get it for him. So those are going to have to improve. I'm sure they will with Rice coming back and Worthy there now.
Say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should just do total touchdowns from now on.
The touchdowns to turnover.
Yeah, it just feels like a stat from a bygone era.
To
where
not
only
include
your
the rushing
throwing touchdowns matter. It just feels like
I
always want to see total touchdowns.
I hear you, but generally it might be 3 or 4 touchdowns for a quarterback. Mahomes got 4 already. But that's unusual. That's an aberration. Like even Lamar had 4 last year.
But and I know you wanted to say something else on this, just real quick. But just because Brew invoked it, not me. But he did invoke
tackle the tide.
The tackle the tide.
I heard that.
Mahomes' numbers since then. And league ranks, and that includes a third of these games. I don't know, Dust, if you can throw it up there, the last 3 games. And that includes, those are
better,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and that includes, to your point, Brew, the Jacksonville game is 1/3 of that. And I'm not even including the second half against the Giants because it's too hard to figure. So I just think he is already playing at an MVP level, and now he's getting his best weapon back.
As ridiculous as the tackle that turned the tide is, when we do talk about MVP, we do usually draw a line. Since then, when we're at week 18, we're never like, but week 1, Jared Goff didn't play well. We wouldn't do that in the MVP conversation. Yeah. It's like how we throw away Drake May's game against the Raiders.
But this was 4 games?
Yeah, but it's been a tackle that turned the tide.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
when it turned the tide.
KW, do you also buy this? Like the preseason favorites, some of them are just out. Like Lamar's basically out.
Yeah, Burrow's out.
He's out.
Lamar's out. They would have to basically run the table.
He's either out or going to win it.
They have to win. Yeah, they have to run the
basically
table.
go 10-1 the rest of the way, whatever it is. Burrow is out.
Yep.
Josh's MVP stock is taking a hit.
Yes. He's still in it, but
still in it. So I just think it feels like it might be. I mean, Stafford is going to have a good narrative push as well, but
let the Steelers keep winning.
Rodgers' numbers
narratively though.
No, I don't.
He's not throwing for a lot of yards. His rating is good.
It's going to be like,
what? If they keep winning, he will get in the race.
Oh, yeah, but by keep winning, like, given where his numbers are right now, they would have to be like 13-4.
Yeah.
They would have to be in contention for the top seed in the AFC.
Just like 2 touchdowns, 175 a game. It's like,
Yeah, that won't do it. 175
He's obviously got a heck of a story, narrative.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
Time now for a segment that is never literal until it literally is. It's must win. We're starting off Steelers in Cincinnati. One of the Steelers players referred to this as the Icy Hot Bowl. Rodgers versus Flacco. Oldest matchup of QBs since Bucks Brady took on Colts Matt Ryan. Remember, he's on the Colts. You forgot about that.
I can't.
Is this, Brew, you won last week's must win. So you can pass or play.
I'll play.
Okay, wonderful.
All right. What's the question?
Must win.
Must win for Rodgers?
Yeah, must win.
It is an absolute must win for Aaron Rodgers.
Absolute.
Obviously, they're cooking 4-1. They have a great opportunity. If they go 5-1, and you should stomp the Bengals, you got a 4-game lead over the Ravens, who I expect to start coming back. You play them twice. Even if they beat you in those 2 games, which is going to be tough for the Ravens to do, you still would have a 2-game lead if you're up 4. If you lose this game, your next 3 games, Green Bay, Indy, and the Chargers. You could lose all 3 of those games. You lose this to Cincinnati, your Ravens league could be done. And they might not get a wild card out of this division when you look at the way the other divisions are going. And so it's a must-win for Aaron Rodgers. And also, must-win for Mike Tomlin. You just named names. Andrew Berry, you got to go out there and beat him.
Andrew Berry's with the Browns.
No, but I mean, he got mad at him for trading Joe Flacco to the Bengals. You just want to move on to the next one?
no.
Give me the point.
No,
I don't know. They
Wiles
dominated
doesn't.
that like you
Wiles
thought you did.
doesn't
Neither
like
one of them was thinking
when you-
Tomlin.
Of course, he's the coach of the Steelers.
Well, that's where you're wrong because you're partially right. Because this is a must prove Mike Tomlin wrong. That's what my title is, and here's why it is. So he calls out Andrew Berry, and he's mad, and there's a reason that he's mad. It's because Joe Flacco is 11-11 against the Steelers. Joe Flacco knows the Steelers' defense better than any veteran quarterback they could have possibly gone to get. And now he comes in there and he's ready to play. And what did Joe Flacco do again? He played Green Bay twice. So when he was with the Browns, he had a 55.6 passer rating. And when he was with Cincy, he had a 90.9 passer rating. He can light it up. He can light it up with these receivers. He knows the Pittsburgh defense. That's why Mike Tomlin was so upset about it. And they have the 27th ranked pass defense. It's a must prove Mike Tomlin wrong. So since we're giving away points
piggybacked off.
for that,
You're just trying to avoid the
He
bronze at
piggybacked
this
off.
point.
you need to see the writing on the sheet.
So I think it is a must win, but I think you guys more brew than coach have the reasoning. So first I want to just quickly give Rodgers.
You're getting double teamed. You're out.
Just quickly,
I see.
I want to give Rodgers some credit because after being sacked 7 times the first 2 games, only twice in the last 4, they're getting the ball out quick, which is what has led to his, him staying healthy and the success, which is really important. But KW, Brew can't accept the fact that the Ravens are bad,
Yeah.
and he still thinks about a game between the first place and second place teams in the AFC North. How bad it'll be for the first place team because what it means for the dead last team. As opposed to, if the 4-win Steelers lose, then the Bengals have 3 wins. And the Steelers' schedule is exactly what Bruce said it was. And then they play the Bengals again. And we have seen Joe Flacco in this division relatively recently lead a team with way less talent on offense than this one to 11 wins. So if the Steelers lose, it's not that you have to worry about the Ravens coming back from the dead. It's that the Bengals will be on their heels. That's why it's a must win.
Hate to say it. I like that, Rush.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you giving the Bengals
Take
any
that.
chance to make the playoffs?
I'm just telling you.
You're giving it off of Joe Flacco.
I'm just
He
telling
don't
you.
believe the Bengals can make the
Thank
playoffs.
you.
He didn't
We
even-
saw Joe
Even if
Flacco
We
make
saw
the
Joe
playoffs.
Flacco.
not be
make
My
the
whole, my whole premise was Joe Flacco based.
I know, but
Oh my
you were
God.
more of a victim of the seeding.
Oh my God.
Extra rest for the
Coach
Eagles.
won up to me and Nick won up.
Looking to turn their season around, even though they are 4-2. We talked about in the A block how the funk might be back. One player says it reminds them of their terrible losing streak. Coach, is this a must-win for Philadelphia?
No, this is different. This is a must-win Carson Wentz Super Bowl. Okay, so you forget, we all forget Carson Wentz now, first-round draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, number 2 overall. He goes 11-2 before he gets hurt. He has a great season. There's talk about him getting a gold jacket back then because everybody loved him. And then Nick Foles goes and takes a Super Bowl. They give him this giant contract. Then the Eagles trade him to Indianapolis and take the biggest cap hit in the history of the NFL to move on from him. He gets then traded to the Commanders. This is his 5th team, but he's got an opportunity now to pay the Eagles back and give him a 3-game losing streak and solidify that supernatural funk.
So that was good. Coach, that was all good, but here's the problem.
Not bad.
Here's the problem. And I'm sorry to do this to you, Coach. This is a competitive segment. Did we all forget that? Or we all knew that very vividly? That Carson Wentz used to be on the Eagles? Is it you all forget? We all know, Coach. We all know. It's a pretty famous story. It's a famous story.
I'm just going to say that for a long time I was a Carson Wentz fan, and while I was like, Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
Well, now he's got a Carson Wentz.
Well, nobody liked him. He was like,
Well, now he's got a chance to put a little dagger into the Eagles.
This is oddly, and I think the Vikings are, to be clear, I don't think the Vikings are a bad team. But this is one of the Eagles' easiest games left. After this game, they only play 3 games against teams that are currently below 500. One of them's the Giants, who beat them. One of them is in Dallas, a game that was nip and tuck, and one of them's the Raiders, who are not as good as some very smart people thought they would be. But every other game on the schedule is somewhere from brutal to pretty difficult. And so I agree it is a must-win I think it's a must-win for Philly, because if they were to fall to 4-3 with those games remaining, then you do have to start saying it's on the board. They missed the postseason. And so, yeah, I think it's a must-win for Philadelphia.
It is available.
Well, yeah, they're both partially right.
Yeah.
Coach has some good logic. Here's the thing, Coach. What you said makes it a must-win for Philly. I can't let my ex roll, who we just discarded unceremoniously, walk against us and beat us and embarrass us. That might spark the supernatural funk, as you said. So it's a must-win because of that, but also I'm holding out the possibility that J.J. McCarthy plays. So, because he practiced Monday. So if he plays, it becomes a must-win for Minnesota. Because Carson Wentz was 2-1 as a starter. J.J. McCarthy would be 1-2 if they lose. And look at these numbers. Now all of a sudden you have his numbers are way better than J.J.'s. And I get it, J.J. is the quarterback of the future, but you have a full-blown quarterback controversy on your hands if you go out there with J.J. and he loses.
Yeah, well, JJ's not playing, so that whole
Well, he
logic
practiced
isn't
Monday.
very
Was he
good.
questionable?
They said they're only going to play him when he's absolutely ready to play. So maybe magically he'll be absolutely ready to play.
Either way, it's
You took a shot there. You took a shot, and I respect it.
I covered every base.
Don't move on.
If McCarthy plays, if Carson plays,
And
Philly.
you remember, can I just say one thing? Zach Ertz, when he went to the Commanders and had a giant game against them, Carson Wentz.
Okay, I know they both have Z's in their name, but nobody cares about
Coach
Zach
is
Ertz.
Coach is going on an unwanted
Can I just say something?
That guy work against.
KW, look at the screen.
He's like shooting after the bus.
Why does Brew all of a sudden
I
get
didn't know
subheads
that.
and must win?
I like that a lot.
I can't let my ex-parenthetical Wentz beat
Thank
us.
you, Dust.
Where does this
Come on,
That
Dusty.
was just, and I just said that, so he just threw that up.
Oh, they're
That's
adding that on the fly?
I like
that's
that.
him saying that's clearly a nod to
And
who
who talked about Wentz the whole time?
Yeah, Coach gets the point, but I did
Thank
like that. Graphically, I liked it.
That's not a must-win for
The
Philly.
graphics
It's bonus
supported
round time, everybody. Bonus round. This one's worth 3 points. You might wonder, why do you even prep for the first two? Strategically.
This is 3 points?
This is 3 points.
Wow.
Wow.
I thought it'd be 2. I'm shocked that it's 3.
Two wins. If you win this one, you
It doesn't matter for the first two. I'm just preparing for the third next week.
Right, I know.
Lost to
going
the
forward.
Bears.
I told you got to go
Three
to the
times
That's my
the
point, Wild. Why you have to go to the envelope.
Bears lost to the
I
Bears.
really
Now
made
they're
a
trying to win.
strategic error.
They're in Dallas. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a must-win for Washington?
Yes. They're in 12th place. This is close to a literal must-win.
Ooh.
They've already lost a potential head-to-head tiebreaker with a team that's going to be hopefully fighting for a wild card in Chicago. They lose this game. They lose another head-to-head tiebreaker. I know they get them again, but potentially with a team fighting for one of the wild cards in Dallas. Their next 3 might be the toughest 3-game stretch any team has in the league all year. Their next 3 are in Kansas City, then Seattle, then Detroit. So you fall to 3-4 with that coming up. The Commanders, which some people, I wasn't one of them, but some people thought, last year all those close wins, that they were going to come back down to earth this year. Those people will be proven potentially correct. They have to win this.
Must win, coming off a tough loss. The division seems there for the taking. The Eagles on the verge of collapse. You got to win this game to get yourself in position to win the division. And many might be thinking it's a must-win for the Cowboys. It is not a must-win for the Cowboys. It is not a must-win. A lot of people would think so. Tough loss, the division's still open. I'm just playing with your mind a little bit. Here's why it's not a must-win.
Okay.
If they win, if they lose,
Is this a filibuster?
Bruce, I'm losing my logic.
He's spiraling.
I'm losing my logic.
I'm with you.
If they lose, then
What
Jerry
happened?
is going to go ahead and make a trade.
Okay.
Which is what you want. So
But
if
they
you
don't wanna
win,
lose.
he will think we're okay. We don't have to make a trade. So you
lose,
actually
if you
should
lose,
lose.
you should
if
lose.
you lose, he will go and make a trade for a defensive player.
that's actually
and 2,
savvy.
4, and 1 is not out of it.
No.
In that division.
So they're better off with losing. So
They're better
they
off
So
losing, so he
Jerry,
makes
so
a
Jerry
trade.
goes out there and gets
Coach,
a defensive
this
player.
is all.
You get the
I
logic?
totally
You get
it.
that, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I fell asleep for half that segment because Bruce just was, I don't even know where he went. So this to me is, must have a great plan by Dan. So Dan Quinn was my defensive line coach at the Jets. Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator at the Jets, both on the same staff. Dan has great knowledge and worked against Brian all the time, so he's got that inside insight into Brian. Now, when's the last time they had a formidable defense in Dallas? When Dan Quinn was there. Dan Quinn all the time getting to work against Dak Prescott. So who's the guy that's got to have the plan? It's Dan, because he's got insight in the coordinator and he's got insight into the quarterback. And he's been an outstanding defense coordinator throughout the course of his career. And the only thing that can beat him is this explosive Dallas offense.
Excellent.
A lot of
Drew
theatrics
wins it.
there. Yes! Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
He gets it.
Good try,
Excellent
Coach.
points.
Good try.
No one knew that. It was
you
good.
did
When it was
rhyme
out, I was
and
like, hey,
everything.
I used to work with this guy. Great job, Brew. When you were like, it's a win, but it's not.
So
Yeah.
the key is just to have no logic.
No, it was. You got to follow it.
If the Cowboys lose,
They win.
yeah. 'cause
Yours was
then-
interesting.
This is like a beautiful mind. Like,
Yeah, it was really
drawing
good. But Brew
formulas.
just had something to it.
Thank you.
Excellent
Thank you,
job.
Rob. I'm
Coming
glad
up
you
next.
saw that.
I-
Good
I'll
try,
preference
Coach.
for this next time.
You were in second.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.